Okay, I hope we're rolling. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Nomfundo Rankisa. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm basically gonna be sharing my birth story. Okay, so first of all, let's just say having a baby is an extreme sport. Okay, I basically went from being this girl who literally is living her life, her best life. You know, I go out whenever I want to go out. I go on vacation whenever I want to go on vacation. I'm literally just like hands free. I can do anything, go anywhere, do whatever, and it's fine. I don't have to report to anyone. I don't have to think about anyone. I don't have to do a lot. Okay,
I don't have kids. You get what I'm trying to say? I don't have to go as hard.
I don't have to do much. I went from that to being a mother, and it's overwhelming. That's all I can say. It's overwhelming. It's a lot, and we're just gonna let me start from the beginning. Okay, so basically I have a medical aid, and also with that it was a bit crazy. It was a bit crazy with that because when I joined the medical aid, I wasn't really, let me say, when I joined I had already planned that I was gonna have a baby. So it wasn't one of those things where it's like it's a surprise and I am literally up in the air. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Am I gonna go to a private hospital or am I gonna go to a public hospital? Like, it wasn't any of those. I literally knew that I'm gonna have a baby, so let me get on medical aid. I remember even having this conversation with my friend. I was like, friend, listen, I don't know, like, should I just go straight to paying the hospital cash, or should I join a medical aid? My friend was like, don't even fool yourself like that, join the medical aid. And so I did that. I joined the beginning of the year 2023, and then around May, that's when I found out that I was pregnant, and I was ecstatic. I was happy. Is it April or May? Between the 2 months, I can't really remember. And that's when I found out that there's a little bun in the oven and the heartbeat is there. Everything is great. It's healthy. You know, you're off to a good start. You know, once you get that clear from the doctor that your baby is healthy, your pregnancy is healthy, like there's no complications, and also knowing my history of fertility, it just made my mind feel at ease just a little bit, because also it's like, oh, you have to get through the 18-week mark, oh, you have to get through the first trimester, oh, you have to get through, you know, there's all these levels and all these stages that you have to get through, and then you start breathing and you're like, okay, now we're good, okay, now we're good. And I literally went through all those stages, and it was hard. Like, I remember every time I would read about someone who lost their baby, or watch a video about that, or something, you know, about anything that had to do with a baby and an unhealthy pregnancy, I would cry a lot, because I felt like I was so blessed at that moment to be in a position where I have this person inside of me, this little human being, and I'm fully responsible, and I have to make sure that this baby comes to this world healthy. And you know, it's big responsibility, and I would cry. I would get so emotional every time I would watch a video where someone speaks about their birth story and they tell you all the complications, that I would cry. Okay, I would literally cry, because I'd be like, God, please, I don't want to be this person. I don't want to be in this situation. I don't want to be going through difficulties. I mean, already falling pregnant wasn't the easiest for me, so having to go through a difficult pregnancy wouldn't be the easiest either. So I literally just cry and pray to God that I want this to be as easy and as complication free as possible. And you know what, God came through, and I'm very grateful for that, because I'm a mother. You chose me to be a mom, and my baby chose me to be their mother. Like, that is the biggest blessing ever. I cannot even underestimate that. I'd be like, every day I'd be so grateful, like I have a human being inside of me. It was the best feeling ever. At the same time, nervous, scared, overwhelmed, emotional. I was everything. But then at the same time, I could say that I was in love, because I remember people would ask me a lot, how do you feel? How does it feel? You know, are you excited? And I'd be like, listen, I have all these emotions, and it's sad. I cry sometimes, I write sometimes I feel like, what the hell? But because of the morning sicknesses, okay, we'll get into that. I'll tell people that I feel very emotional, but at the same time, it's emotions of sadness, it's emotions of loneliness, it's emotions of, there's all these emotions going on inside of me, but there's one emotion that I am sure about and that I enjoy so much, and that is the fact that I love my baby so much. The love that's inside of me, I'm falling in love with this human being that's inside of me, and it's amazing. It's the best feeling ever, and that's the feeling that makes me wake up every morning and say, I'm having this baby. And it's that feeling that just makes me feel like, yes, I'm winning in life. This is the best feeling ever, knowing that I love this human being so much, and they chose me to be their mother. Like, that is like the craziest. I always just go back to that feeling and be like, how can I love someone this much? Literally, this person, I've never met them. It's a little human being. When they see me, they're probably not even gonna say a word. It's just a tiny little being that's inside of me, and I'm in love. I'm literally gushing, and that was the best feeling ever. And I kept that feeling going throughout my whole pregnancy. Whenever something would irritate me, I'll just go back to that thing where I'll be like, the love is real. Okay, my baby's waking up now. I think it's time to breastfeed. So yeah, it's time to feed him, Shane. So yeah, that was that. And then okay, so I'm basically gonna try and be as quick as possible. I think I'm gonna round this up in 30 minutes because baby is already having his bedtime and I need to join him. So let me get down to that. I have a piece of paper actually. So I wrote down all the things that I want to say and talk about. All the things that I want to talk about so that I don't find myself going around and round and round and round. So let me do that actually. And I don't want to wake baby up also, so I need to be quick. Okay, all right, so yes, with regards to my medical aid, top of the list, with regards to my medical aid, let me just go through all this list and tell you guys what we'll be talking about. The medical aid, baby number 2, morning sicknesses, relationship with baby daddy, and yeah, my relationship with my baby daddy, my man's, and my response to people that actually talk, people that actually want to add certain things to motherhood and make it a negative thing, you know. Yeah, my response to that. Okay, so with regards to my medical aid, you guys, literally, I can say that the gynae or the OB that I picked wasn't my first choice, because my medical aid restricted me. You know, obviously with the plan that you have, the medical aid plan that you're on, there's a restricted number of specialists that you need to go to. There's a restricted number of GPs that you need to go to. All of that, it's literally just like down to which medical aid are you on. And most gynaes and OBs that I went to, they don't take medical aid. So I was literally caught in this confusion of, do I go straight and I do cash from my consultations until the last bit of it? That's why I feel like I was a bit all over the place in the beginning. And when I even told my friend that the gynae that I'm attending, the gynae that I constantly go to since the year 2022, he doesn't take medical aid, and he's the one person that I was most comfortable with and the one person that I trusted with this, you know, but he just doesn't take medical aid. And obviously when it comes to claiming back to your medical aid, the money that you paid cash for consultations, it's literally amounting to nothing. So I was literally wasting my time by going there knowing that I have medical aid, because when I claimed back the money, it was literally cents. I'm a cent compared to the money that I paid cash. So it wasn't advisable for me to claim back, and I won't advise anyone to go and claim from your medical aid. If a doctor says I don't take medical aid, you can go and claim. Just know that you're wasting your time. You're not going to get your money back. So might as well just go to the doctors that actually take your medical aid and they actually take your plan. So then, yeah, so it came down to that basically. The gynae that I picked, the hospital that I picked, it came down to, what does my medical aid allow me to go? Where does my medical aid allow me to go? And who is actually taking it, you know? Because most of them, they'll be like, I'm not taking this plan, I'm not taking this medical aid, oh my gosh. I don't know if I should mention which one I was on, if it's relevant. Maybe in the comment section, if anyone is interested in that, I can tell you guys. But yeah, basically that's what it was. And let me tell you something. When I went to this gynae for the first time, I literally bawled. I was crying my eyes out when I got to the consultation room, and she asked me, what's wrong? And I said, I'm nervous. You know, I was so used to my first gynae that it was hard for me to accept the change. It was hard for me to go to someone new and literally be like, okay, help me, you know, I'm vulnerable and you take medical aid, so that's why I'm here. You know, it was like I felt like I was running out of options, but I couldn't help the situation, because what was I supposed to do? Yeah, so I feel like that's what it came down to when it came to picking my OB. It literally came down to which doctor takes medical aid, basically. Because I mean, I was at Centon Mediclinic, and most of the OBs there did not take medical aid. So I was like, okay, let's change and find someone who does, because what the heck, otherwise I'll be paying for nothing, you know. Yeah, and on to item number 2, which is baby number 2. Wait, before we get there, let's do the morning sicknesses, because I had said I want to go according to the list, according to what comes first, basically. Yeah, with regards to morning sicknesses and basically how it all started, you know, my pregnancy, I wouldn't really say my pregnancy was the most difficult. and the most complicated, or no, I won't say that. It wasn't easy, but it wasn't hard at the same time. It wasn't hard because I remained positive at all times. Like, I tried actually to remain positive at all times. And yeah, let's just say the sicknesses rocked me. I was rocked hard because of the morning sicknesses. It was so hard for me to navigate day-to-day life and have to feel the way I felt. I was nauseous for days. I couldn't eat. Like, nothing would stay down. I couldn't eat. Everything smelled horrible. I was like, what? I hated the smell of food. Anything. I don't care. Anything. Like, people would say, oh, I hated the smell of Vienna's. I hated the smell of chicken. No, with me, it was literally everything. When I look at food, I feel like vomiting. I'd be like, why are you eating that? Because I couldn't eat, I couldn't cook, right? So I wouldn't cook. I would literally buy food on the go. I think my morning sicknesses stopped at around, literally the third trimester. Even in the second trimester, I was still vomiting. I would literally sit like this in the bathroom and say, okay, Mfundo, you're gonna have to just deal. This is your new life. This is the new normal. When you wake up in the morning, you just sit in the toilet and you start and you start but yeah, I would literally brush my teeth and vomit. I would literally, okay, let me just have some tea. I'm not gonna eat bread. I'm not gonna do none of that. I'm just having tea and it will come back. That's how bad it was. Literally nothing would stay down. It was bad. And at the time I would say, okay, now I'm getting better. Now, you know, I feel better today. Today, I'm not gonna get sick today. Today is the day. Watch. Not even 5 minutes would end and I would literally run to the toilet and vomit. Even now, I just don't want to talk about it because I think the mind is also like very smart. Once you start talking about something, it literally happens. So we're done with that topic. I'm not going there again. ever. I'm closing that chapter of morning sicknesses. I'm closing it. That's how bad it was. And then item number 3, let's talk about baby number 2. Will I have a second baby? Let's drink to that. Well, the question should be when, because I definitely want my baby to have a sibling, and I want, you know, a big family. Not big, but like a big family. You know, I want to have kids. And so basically, yeah, I would definitely have baby number 2, and when is really the question. You know, I was talking to my friend about this. I was like, you know what, friend, it's so hard for me to answer this question because it's not an individual question. It's not a question that you would ask an individual, but like a couple. So if I was with my partner right now and we were having this question asked, we would have to come up with an answer to it. But for myself alone, I really can't say. And I feel like it should be a collective decision. It shouldn't be, oh, I'm gonna have my second child at this age, or when I'm done, or when baby is this age. It shouldn't be like that. It should be a collective decision. So I don't know if I can answer this question. When will I have my baby, and will I have baby number 2? Yes. When? That's where I cannot say But it would be nice to have them close in age, just because it's nicer that way. You know, what you're done. You know, you're just gonna pop them out and you're done. So yeah, that's the story with baby number 2. And then relationship with, yes guys, item number 3, relationship with baby daddy. Guys, yo, you see that's one. I'll drink to that. Basically, what I can say is that the relationship changes. Your relationship with your partner changes. I don't care if you're married. I don't care if you or what. But there will be a change in your relationship once you have a child with your significant other. I don't know why. I don't know how. But that's what happens. That's what happens. Your relationship changes. And yeah, for the people that can say no, not everyone's relationship will change. But time to go far and da. I guess they're the lucky ones, hey? I guess it's luck. I guess it's luck, or they probably in denial or delusional. I don't know. But what I know, me, would get change, hey? Get so. And it's normal, because I started reading about it actually, because I was thinking, this cannot happen. Like, am I going crazy? Am I the one who's going crazy? But the more I started searching for answers, it was like popping up everywhere, where it says that the guy also experiences hormones. So when you're pregnant, your man will also experience the hormones that you're experiencing. Maybe not the same hormones, but maybe not the same hormonal changes, but somehow they will also feel emotional. They will feel neglected. They will feel lonely. They will feel all these things that you are feeling in your pregnancy, but in a different way, because they are man and they don't admit to feeling emotional. Like, I'm okay, you know. They try to fight it and they try to like make it seem like, no, I'm not feeling that, but they are actually, because it's a big responsibility that they're taking on. They're gonna be a dad. The same feelings that you feel, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be a mother, how am I gonna do this, how am I gonna do this, how am I gonna, they also go through that, but in a different way, because they try so hard to hide it. And then that's where the relationship gets affected, because now people are not coming in clear. People are not coming in as they are. They're coming in with all this baggage, but they're hiding it. They're hiding the baggage, and they're like, no, I'm okay, but they're not. And it's frustration, and it's tension, and it's So that's what happened with my relationship. I felt like my man was literally going through all these emotions with me, but without me at the same time. Like, he would hide it. He would hide what he's feeling. And I would be like, you changed. You are you okay? This is not you. This is not who you are. But yeah, in the long run, I started realizing that no, this person is actually going through pregnancy, emotions and hormones the same way that I am, but because they're guys, they will not admit and they will not share. And I remember telling him, you need to go see a psychologist, or you need to talk to your friends, but you need to start sharing how you feel, you know, just because you can't bottle everything inside and say you're okay when you know that you're not okay. Yeah, and that's what I can say with relationship and baby and pregnancy, you know, that's the relationship does get affected, and you guys have to basically open the door of communication even harder. It's gonna be hard, but you need to like open that door and say, let's talk, let's communicate, let's kesana. My response to wait until they start crawling, wait until your child starts doing this, wait until they, you see, I don't like that kind of parenting. I don't like parents that want to parent through other people. You trying to show me that you're a good mom by, I don't know if it's giving me advice or giving me notes or giving me a heads up. I don't know what it is, but tone it down a notch, because I'm trying to experience this my way. I'm not trying to have your experience overlap what I'm going through currently. Just because you've been here before doesn't mean that I'm also going to go through the same experience that you went through. We're different. Things will look different. Don't think just because you had this happen to you, I'm also going to have this happen to me. And I think, you know what, the best way to do it, actually, that's going to get me to item number 6. When do you start telling people that you're pregnant? Who do you tell? Because people have so many opinions, you will go crazy. So with regards to people that parent like that, or moms that do that to other moms, I don't like it. I dislike it. I don't like that thing where you just, you know, when you went through this and this and this and this, and then as soon as you find out that this person is pregnant, then you come with all your baggage from what you went through, and you want to toll them on this person and make it seem like, you're gonna go through this, your boobs are gonna sag, you're gonna do like, nah, don't do that. Like, you went through that, fine, great, that's your experience, but why are you trying to put it on a new mom? Like, why are you doing that? Leave it alone. Like, just say congratulations, I'm happy for you. And if that person wants your advice, or they want you to tell them how your pregnancy went, how your first week with the newborn went, yes, if they ask, yes, you can share. But if it's a thing where you just say it out of nowhere, just because you can, that is disgusting. Don't do that. I dislike that, and I'm so passionate about this topic, because I feel like there's so many people who do it unknowing. They just do it, and it's annoying. It is annoying. It's annoying, because Mina, I want to keep my journey as positive as possible, because it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy getting pregnant. It wasn't easy carrying this child for 9 months. And so for someone to come and say all these negative things about motherhood, it just disgusts me, and I feel like, shut up. I feel like, don't do it. If you're not going to say anything nice or positive, don't do it. Maybe I'm too sensitive, I don't know, but I just don't like people that do that to new moms. Don't do it. I'm actually thinking about something now. So today we went for our 6-week appointment, and when I got to the gynae, the receptionist was like, oh my gosh, don't you just love she was like, oh my gosh, how crazy it is that at this age they like fully depending on you, like they just want you here all the time. And I'm like, and I love it so much. I literally looked at her and said, and I love it so much. But I knew that she was saying it in a negative light. The child is literally depending on you for everything. And I'm like, and I love it. I love it. And then she changed her mindset, completely changed. And she's like, oh yes. And they grow up and they won't need you as much anymore. Oh my gosh, oh my word. And I'm like, girl, I'm not trying to be here and complain about my child being here and say, oh, they don't sleep at night, oh, they don't do this, oh. I'm not trying to be negative. It is hard, yes, but I'm not going to highlight the hardships for you, especially strangers, especially people that you're not close with. It's not nice, it's not cute. We're not going to do that. Not with my baby. No, not with my experience, not with my experience in motherhood. I'm not gonna go with the negative, please. Full stop. I think I've said a mouthful on that topic. I've said a mouthful. Oh yes, this topic basically brings me to who do you tell? Who do you tell? Like, when do you start telling people? So I started telling people I think I was 4 to 5 months. I can't remember how many weeks I was, but I'm pretty sure that I was in my second trimester. That's when I started telling people. And yeah, I was in my second trimester. And also this, I didn't tell everyone. I literally told few people, like a few people knew about my pregnancy just because of that thing. Yeah, the opinions. People have opinions and they will oppose them on you, and you will feel like, why did I even tell this person? They will say the weirdest things and you'll feel attacked. Also, just because at that time you're so vulnerable, you're so emotional. So any little thing someone will say, you'll literally blow it into proportion and you'll think they're attacking you. So I try to keep it as minimal as possible. But when you tell a few people, you know, man, I mean, you know your people, you know your circle, right? So for me it was easy that I tell the people that I told, because I know how they will react, I know how they will treat me through this pregnancy, you know. So that's probably the reason why I didn't announce as early as 3 months and say, oh, guess what, I'm pregnant, post the picture on Instagram, wada, because I didn't want people's opinions. I didn't want the wait until, I didn't want the baby out of wedlock comments. I just didn't want all of that. So I just kept it as minimal as possible. I was like, this is my circle and these are the people that are gonna know, and that's it. And I know a lot of people, especially on social media. I have a lot of social media people that I know, people that I haven't even met, or people that I've met like once or twice. So I was like, nah, I'll just keep it to the smallest circle that I have, and I'll tell those people, because why should I tell everybody? Because it's gonna cause stress on me. It's gonna cause me stress to be talking to these people for 9 months straight about my baby, and I don't want that. I don't want to discuss my pregnancy with 1,000 people, but I will discuss it with a few people. That way it's manageable. You manage your stress, you manage your opinions, you manage everything, because the more people know, the harder it will be. And I wanted it to be the most peaceful pregnancy ever, and it was exactly that. I think the only time I would be stressed out was when when I had to deal with like medical situation, medical bills and stuff like that, where I'll be in a situation where I want to use a certain doctor, but my medical aid says it restricts me to this doctor, you know what I mean? So those were the only things that I could say really got me stressed out. But otherwise, it was peaceful. I would block all the negative comments. If I have to read something negative, I'll block it out. I even logged out of TikTok because I was like, nah fam, we're not gonna do that. I am not gonna listen to old women talk about mujolo, talk about all of these crazy things these old women talk about on TikTok. Because once you watch one video and you comment on one ratchet video, your whole TikTok is going to be ratchet. And that's what happened to me. And so I deleted it. I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to have a peaceful pregnancy. I'm not going to listen to this bullshit TikTok of women talking about when a man cheats, this, when, you know, like, you know what, it was just a lot, guys. And it got more when you're pregnant there, the belly's heavy and you must listen to nonsense. I was like, I'm deleting this. And I was like full on Instagram just looking at all the fashion, like, oh, when I'm done I'm gonna be looking like this, you know what I mean? Basically that. Now we're getting to the final item, which is me checking into the hospital that I delivered in. So I checked in, I don't know if I should share the dates, but I checked in a day before the delivery. So basically I wanted a C-section. I'm gonna say it, I really did. I was nervous. I was like, how am I gonna push a person out of my vagina, a baby? How am I gonna do it? You know what I mean? And so I opted for a C-section. I was like, it's gonna be hard, but it's the easiest for me. It felt like it was the easiest. I feel like when you deliver it naturally, you just have to be very strong. You have to be determined, and you gotta know your story when you're delivering a baby naturally, okay? Because there's a lot of things that go into it. People don't realize. Yeah, it's hard, and you just gotta be prepared, more than prepared, because the doctor's gonna say push, and then so you must know your story there. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Not that I've had it, I mean, this is my first baby, so I wouldn't even know what's the difference between a natural and a C-section. But I knew from the get-go that I wanted a C-section. So going into this, I was like, okay, so I got admitted the day before my C-section. They were monitoring me, checking the baby's heartbeats, checking everything, if everything is okay, you know, if I was getting any contractions. Everything was going well. And then the following day, that morning, I delivered my baby by a C-section. I knew it was gonna be a C-section, but obviously I had to try the natural way, and yeah, we just had to go with the C-section because child. And yeah, it was a 4-day stay. I stayed in hospital for 4 days. Was it 4 days or 5 days? I remember it was the longest. I think I got admitted on a Wednesday and I left there on a Saturday. So it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days. Yeah, I got admitted on a Wednesday and I got discharged on a Saturday. Child, got the same. People are out and about doing things nagimo kanwana. But like, nonetheless, I wouldn't even trade the experience for anything, because it was the most magical. I was crying. I started crying before I even got to theater. So by the time I woke up in the morning, so they told me the night before, okay, you're gonna have a C-section at this time, doctor's gonna come in. And then that morning I woke up at 6. I remember I took a shower. They came and they drew my blood, you know, normal checkups. And then I sat on my bed waiting for them to come and collect me, because we had to go into theater at 7 o'clock. and they came. As they come, they're like, hey, Nomfundo, so we're going into theater now, are you good? And I started crying. I started crying and I didn't stop up until I saw my baby. When I saw my baby, I was like, oh, you know what? All the stress, all the pain, all of that, all of those emotions that I felt for 9 months are worth it, and there's nothing compared to this feeling right now. Like, I feel it felt amazing, you know. When I saw my baby, I was like, how did I get so lucky? Like, God, you really love me this much to give me a baby? I was like, yes. It was the best feeling ever. I swear to God, it was the best feeling ever. But the tears, it was tears of joy.
Baby, no. Oh my God. Are you looking at this? Oh my God. Nana. Put your hands down. Hi, baby. Hello. Congratulations.
Oh man, I'm gonna cry again. I'm gonna cry again. So with me, I can say that my birth story wasn't really like this dramatic. Oh my gosh, I'm a contraction, I'm petty, I can't push the baby, this is happening, I felt the pressure. None of that, literally none of that. I went into hospital aiming for C-section because I was like, pushing? Nah, fam. So yeah, it was that, literally. And when they gave me my baby, I couldn't get my eyes off him. I was looking at him the whole time. When he came out, he started screaming. It was like, ah! He literally started screaming, and I was looking at him like, what? You know, that feeling where I was holding my breath. Yes, let me describe this feeling for you. It's like I was holding my breath for 9 months, and when I saw my baby, I said, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what happened. I was holding my breath for 9 months, pregnant with this baby. And when I saw his face, when I saw the doctor say, "There's your baby," I said, it was a sigh of relief, knowing that my child was actually here. It was a sigh of relief, and I was like, nothing beats this feeling. And I looked at him, I stared at him the whole time, and I was just looking at him while they were busy measuring him, and I was like, oh, this is mine, this is my human being, I made this. Oh, it was the best feeling ever, you guys. So I highly recommend I highly recommend that people have kids. I'm not gonna be that mom who's gonna say, have kids, they said, have kids, they said. Like, guys, it's frustrating, yes, like you have sleepless nights, you have all these things going on, but like, nah, me, I want to stay positive. I don't know about y'all, but I want to remain as positive as possible about motherhood, because I am that passionate. I love my baby that much. I don't even want to think about any negative issue and say, have kids, they said. I know it's a joke, but Nah, I say have them. I say have them, as many as possible, because it's the best feeling ever. Oh my gosh. When I looked at him, I was like, the love, intense. And I will not deny anyone that kind of love. I say, go ahead, guys. I'm kidding. But yeah, man, that's what it is, hey? That's what it is. That's what happened with me and my pregnancy, and that's my birth story, I guess. I just wanted to include all these other things, like medical aid, baby number 2, and morning sicknesses, just because I felt like my birth story isn't so dramatic for me to actually say, oh, the placenta was like this and that. No, none of that. Literally in and out of hospital, apart from the fact that they kept me there until Saturday. And healing from a C-section, guys. Ooh, healing from a C-section. I can say that I had the best doctor, because yeah. I know that when you go under anesthesia, you actually get nauseous, and I had none of that. So I wasn't nauseous, but then pain is what got to me very much. The pain, the pain. And you take your painkillers now, but once the painkiller is done, just see, you just feel like I don't know how to explain this feeling. It is crazy, child. You feel things that are pulling inside of you. You just feel, yeah, it's intense. It's intense. It's intense. And then they gave me this thing where I had to push, but it was connected to my drip. So whenever I push, the medication goes into the drip and it goes into the body and what's not. And I would push that thing, Mara, the pain will be there. And then I think on the 3rd day, that's when they started. On the 2nd day, on the 2nd day that evening. On the 2nd day that evening, after pushing baby, then they started giving me painkillers, and then I would take them every 2 hours, every 3 hours, whatever, you know. But yeah, basically it wasn't the easiest. You know, people would always say, natural, people that have C-sections, they're just lazy, or people that have C-sections you guys don't know the pain of pushing a baby, it's literally so hard, Hi guys, this thing is the same. For me, I feel like the pain is pain, whether you pushed, whether it's a C-section, pain is pain, and you feel it, okay? You feel it. So yeah, we got discharged on Saturday. So during the course of my stay at the hospital, my family came to see me and baby. They were so excited. They literally came on the same day he was born, because he was born in the morning, and then they came in the afternoon. It was like the best. My family, you know, it was literally the best feeling ever. And it was a sigh of relief. It was a sigh of happiness, like, I can breathe. I didn't start calling people, I think, until the 3rd day, or was it the same day? Yeah, until the 3rd day, because I was in love. I would look at my baby and be like, oh, I'm so in love. And then I think on the 3rd day, that's when I started telling people, texting people, you know. But I couldn't keep my eyes off him. Then on Saturday, I got discharged and went home with my baby. The best feeling ever. You know, when you know how you prepared for your child, and you know how you left the house with this feeling, this cold feeling in your heart, I'm gonna be a mom, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be a mom. And then you come back to your home and you are a mother, and you have this human being in your hands, and it's like, I did it. It's the best. the best. It's like it's a win. And we came home, and yeah, and I'd also recommend that you start bonding with your child while while you're still pregnant, because for me it felt like I already knew him. It was like it's someone that I knew. Like I was like, this is easy because I've already bonded with this baby for 9 months. So when they gave him to me, it was so easy for me to just go into this motherhood thing, or I don't know, being a mom, or I don't know. It was so easy because it was like, I remember this girl, because I was sharing, because I mean, when you're having a C-section, you actually share a room, but then when you're having a natural, then you don't share unless you pay a certain amount. And yes, I also had a co-payment. I need to go into that also. I had a co-payment, but yeah, that's a story for another day. So yes, so the lady that was next door, she was like, I love the bond that you have with your child. Like, you are literally, bonding with him, and it's amazing to see because your bond is so intense. Like, I feel like I know him already. I feel like we've bonded this whole 9 months, and now he's finally here. It's the best feeling ever. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I love my child so much, guys. I love him. So yeah, man, that's my birth story, I guess, and how everything went down. I think I'm gonna end this video now and say